Well, here we are, early morning in Brookton, just after 6:30. Sun's out, washing still drying. This is where we slept last night. There was no one else here, so we decided to sleep in the hut. Still fairly cool, even though there was no breeze, but very still blue sky overnight. If you're wondering where Jude is, she's not actually making breakfast just yet, not even a coffee. Jude was a little bit cold when she got up, so she's decided she'll impersonate a banana in grey and orange pyjamas. How are you, Jude?
I'm really warm in here.
I don't know if you realise what you look like, but anyway.
I can't find my leggings, so I had to get back in this.
Lost the leggings, so we've got to be like we're in a cocoon. So anyway, let's wander out, folks, see what the morning is like. It's quite crisp, it's dead still, no movement in the trees whatsoever. And we're going to be heading back down that way a little bit later. We're having a very lazy day today, only just over 11 kilometres. We've done our last double hutting, so 11 k's from here to Canning, and we're in no hurry whatsoever. Well, this is probably the most solid part of track that we'll walk on for the entire journey, because Brookton is actually set up for wheelchairs. So this bit of track here down to the car park at Brookton Highway is very, very firm. Even the new rammed earth toilets is set up with the railing and the likes for disabled people, which is really terrific. It allows them to come out and experience the Australian bush. So this is a walk probably of, I don't know, between 1.5 and 2 k's. But it's a nice way for people with a disability to actually come in with friends and enjoy the bush. Can even camp overnight. It's a terrific initiative. We've just come to the base now of Abyssinia Rock. We've been walking for about 7.5 kilometres from the Brookton campsite. Jude's on her way up to the top. We're going to have a cup of tea up there. Why it's called Abyssinia Rock, I don't actually know. Abyssinia nowadays is modern Ethiopia. But anyway, here we are at Abyssinia Rock, inside 4 k's from actually reaching our destination for the day. So it's been a very casual, restful walk so far. Well, day 5, first snake. We've just seen a very big tiger snake cross the path in front of me, which is probably not surprising because, as you can see, there's a lot of casual water around here and tigers are normally around those sort of conditions. You missed it, Jude. I was about 80 metres in front of you. You were very, very lucky.
Oh, I wish I'd seen it. Tiger snakes are amazing.
He was very colourful and he was quite big around the girth, so maybe he's had a mouse or something.
Just had a mouse for lunch.
In recent times, yes. But anyway, it's a reminder that we need to keep our eyes peeled because they are out and about.
And just about coming into Canning Hut. And it's going to be a leisurely afternoon.
Here we are at Canning Hut, and if we sleep in here tonight, we'll be ascending Allen's Step. So a nice comfortable day out on the track. So all set up for another night. My tent up. Jude's very stealth tent is up as well. Now we're about to go across to the hut. Jude's going to make another nice dinner for us. Off on day 6, we've just left the Canning Hut. It's about 7:15 in the morning, and off to our next stop at Monadnocks. Hopefully it'll be a stress-free day. Making our first incline of the day today through some beautiful jarrah forest. Still some cloud about overhead, nothing threatening, but it's cool temperature wise, but reasonably humid. Still some of the plants, even though it's 8:10 in the morning, still have some dew scattered over their leaves. It's quite nice conditions for walking, and beautiful to be doing it through a thick forest. My favourite type of track here, all the she oak needles, does actually make a different sound under your feet. It can be a little bit less heavy, a little bit less crunchy, but she oaks all around us here. There's a lot south of Monadnocks, which we'll see tomorrow, but here's a lovely piece here where you'll hear that the sound under my feet pretty much deadens. Absolutely magnificent. Provides a bit of cushion underfoot as well. We've just had a cup of tea having crossed the Canning River. It's actually a billabong at all times of the year. There's always quite a bit of water there regardless of whether the river's flowing too much, but the Canning River flows all the way down to the Swan River where it joins, and then it goes out to the ocean. But one of the great things about the Bibbulmun is the saying, leave no trace. Well, unfortunately, someone has left a trace here of a broken beer bottle. Every now and then you come across the remnants of absolute turkeys or hoons or whatever you want to call them. But yes, someone's just decided to shatter a beer bottle at the base of the tree where we just pulled up to have a cup of tea. Well, today is somewhat of a strange day for me, I have to say. For the past 33 years I've been a sports broadcaster, and this time last year, well around this time last year, it's calling the AFL Grand Final. And the AFL Grand Final's on today. in Melbourne. And I have to say that for me, I don't actually miss it, which is something I'd never said probably 4, 5, 6 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago. But since Jude introduced me to hiking, and that was only a bit over 12 months ago, it's really become something that I become really passionate about, and it's been fantastic to get out into the Australian bush. So when I said to people that I wouldn't be here for the AFL Grand Final, I wouldn't be here to commentate the WAFL Grand Final with the Grand Final in Victoria, a lot of people sort of said, well, why would you want to do that? And to be perfectly honest, not only do I feel content with the fact that I made that decision, I actually feel completely relaxed about it. And as I said, if you had said that to me a few years ago, no way. So that's the power of the Australian bush, folks. It brings a different perspective to your life. And today's been another very, very good day out in it. Looking forward to many more on the way down to Albany. Destination reached. The most mispronounced name, apart from Woolwich, on the track, Monadnocks. And for those wondering, a Monadnock is a little granite outcrop that pokes up above the ground. And here we are, standard tent, or standard campsite I should say, standard hut. Don't know whether we'll be in here tonight or whether we'll pitch a tent. But the one thing about this particular hut, having been here before, is it does have a stunning view out over the valley, which will be quite something come tomorrow morning, especially if there's a little bit of mist around. So with a couple of detours today, 17.2 kilometres to get here through some absolutely delightful countryside. Time to say goodbye to Monadnocks, and next stop is Mount Cooke. We've got about 14 k's to go. 2 major climbs over Mount Cuthbert and Mount Vincent. We slept in the hut last night, although there was a big group there. There was about 7 scouts with the scout leader, and there was also 2 dads helping out. And then on top of that, there was also 2 mums with their kids as well, and they all slept in their tents. That was a very lovely night. The kids were all very well behaved and went to bed very early. So now we are on our way to Mount Cooke. Very pleasant start to the day again. Very, very calm. Really looking forward to it. Well, here's one of the numerous boot cleaning stations along the Bibbulmun Track. This is mainly because of the pathogen that creates, unfortunately, dieback. It's a disease of the trees which actually prevents them from taking up the nutrients and the water that they need. Unusually though, they've got a brush here. Normally they've got
things that you
yeah,
spray.
normally they've got like the brush on the ground. But off you go, Judith. You have your turn, I'll do mine.
It's full of water, so that'll do.
Okay. So yes, unfortunately, dieback devastates parts of the Australian forest. So everyone that comes through is asked to do that. A lot of trees you can see that have been disturbed or affected by dieback. So leave it like that, Judith, and I'll have my turn now. So we've had a very casual start to the day. 2.5 kilometres on pretty flat ground. Beneath our feet, the beautiful, almost padding of all the she oak needles. This is a magnificent jarrah and she oak forest here. But our easy start to the day is about to change, because we're just getting on the ascent of Mount Cuthbert. We've been over it twice before in training walks, so we know what we're in store for, and it does bite into the legs, there's no doubt about that. Jude's packing away the drone, and as you've just seen on the vision, it was well worth the climb getting up to the top of Mount Cuthbert. It actually feels easier than it did the previous couple of times we did it, but it's a beautiful still day. It's not a breath of air really at the top, and it is quite stunning. And what did you think, Jude? Not as difficult really as what we thought it may be at the start of the day.
Oh God, no, actually quite good. I think this is the easiest one though.
Well, thank you for that. Glad I've got the drone down because you can hear a plane overhead. But if we look around here, you can see the very peak of Mount Cuthbert, and up here, a can. Very Scottish name. But where they can't put signs, Bibbulmun Track woggles into the ground. There's a can which tells you which way you have to walk. So this is to the peak here of Mount Cuthbert, and then it will tell you after that the next can as to where to walk to, and you can see it away perhaps in the distance over there, so it lets you know the direction you should be going. The other thing is there are various namas up here, and here's one just here. It's a little hollow or area in the granite that contains water, and for the indigenous people going back many years, this was a terrific source of water for them. Even in a period like this where it hasn't rained for a few days, but there are namas all over these sort of granite outcrops, whether it be here or Mount Vincent or Mount Cooke where we're going to go tomorrow. But you can tell it's a magnificent scene from up here, actually made far better by the fact that you can only feel just a breath of air. We've come down now off Mount Cuthbert, been in a little bit of a valley. There's not much respite, and now we're starting the climb up to Mount Vincent, which is our second and final climb of the day. And as Jude said before, this one coming down from the north is tougher than Mount Cuthbert, so we'll be taking it cautiously and probably slowly. Well, we made it. Here is the top of Mount Vincent. Certainly a tough climb. More mountain goat climbing than what Mount Cuthbert was. You really need to engage four-wheel drive to get up there. But again, the view is certainly worth it, without a shadow of a doubt. And here comes Jude to the top as well. So we made it. It is hot. Bit of breeze up the top though, but when you're walking through that heavy canopy and foliage, it's no breeze. But well done. We're here.
I know.
Time for a cup of tea.
Woohoo!
Last tea bag?
Last tea bag.
Until we get a resupply. Hang on. Cheers.
Cheers.
We've made it over Mount Cuthbert and Mount Vincent.
What would I do without tea bags?
Well, you're going to find out in the next hour and a half. Oh, what a lovely place to sit down with a nice bit of cool breeze. Well, it's nice to have a food drop. It's nice to have fresh food. But when you eat as much as we just did, Dan and Judith, and then put the next 6 days worth of food in our pack, we're coming to an incline, which the way I feel at the moment looks like a mountain, given how much we've just eaten. When my wife brought out our resupply. But anyway, we'll put on a brave face, see if we can saunter very slowly to the top of this. You feeling well sated?
It's just one foot in front of the other.
It is, but that food. Oof,
Oh, it was good.
a chicken wrap and muffin.
Oh,
Magnificent. Oh, anyway, we'll say goodbye for now, folks. We've got to concentrate on what looks like a steep climb. So walking along at the moment on old, what would have been a railway formation. It's a heavily logged area back when it was a legal thing to do. This old growth forest. So this is where the train track would have actually run on this particular course that we're going through just here now. And there in fact is part of the old track. Been pulled up and discarded with a large rail bolt in the middle of it as well. Well, here at Mount Cooke is one of only 2 group campsites. We're going straight ahead 500 metres to the usual campsite, if you like. The group campsite is down to my right now, and everything is supposed to be down there tented. It does have a very large undercover area, but it's not so much to be used for that purpose. But if there are large groups coming through, mainly school groups, scout groups, things of that nature, then that's where they can go if they go over and back of Mount Cooke, which is a very popular climb. It's the tallest peak of the Darling Range, and we're going up it first thing tomorrow. Well, through the trees there is the modern day Mount Cooke hut, which we reached a short time ago. The reason it's the modern day one, this is the water tank from the original hut, which used to actually stand on the site on which we've erected our tents for the night here, because unfortunately a raging firestorm came through this part of the Monadnocks National Park and in the process destroyed this entire area along with 18,000 hectares. It was back in January 2003, so as a result the campsite was actually rebuilt. But some of the flames that came through were actually 30 metres high, and the plume of smoke rose over 10 kilometres into the sky, and unfortunately the ferocity of it means it'll be decades before much of this forest recovers to its pre-fire state. And you can see there's plenty of regeneration over the hill here. There is some water down there. It's not moving. It would normally be a bit of a creek in full blaze of winter, but at the moment it's really just some casual water that's just laying there. We may get a little bit of rain tonight. The sky has looked threatening at times. There were a couple of light drops of rain around the time that we had our supply or resupply pickup. But this is our place for the night, which for me holds some sentimental value, because this is where I stayed the first night that I went camping with Jude, and that was probably about August last year, the first time I'd ever camped in a tent, carried a backpack in my life. And here I am now, less than 18 months later, actually walking the entire Bibbulmun Track. So as I said, sentimental memory for me here. This is the first place I ever pitched a tent and the first place I ever slept in a tent in my life. Hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep again tonight.